Hey everybody, Card Dreamer here, coming at you on behalf of D Class and all things D Class related. And today I'm bringing you a Let's Discuss about my newfound love and appreciation for shmups. So, just wanted to, I talked about this quite a bit actually with Dace over at Stonebeak Production and Shmuptopia, but we covered a wide range. We covered shmups and we covered brawlers, fighters, and so forth. And I just thought it'd be fun to kind of give a little more in depth talk about my interest in shmups and how I came about it and so forth. And basically, Dace is the one who got me into shmups. He's the one that really kind of introduced me to the genre. Not that I didn't know it existed, but I really didn't know what it was. I didn't really know how to name genres back then, or even if they had names or what. It just wasn't something I really thought about. It was just did you play? It wasn't did you play this shmup? It was did you play Mega Man or have you played The Lion King or Ninja Turtles or whatever the game may be, Double Dragons, so forth. But I've played a couple, but I always felt them a little hard and me not quite up to it, so I didn't really pursue those type of games. Did I play them here and there? There's one or two I remember that I actually played. I don't remember the names of them because it was a long time ago. There's actually one that stood out or that stands out when I was living in Maryland as a kid. I was living with my mother. We were in Bethlehem, Maryland. So I'm not narrowing down years for anybody except for in my memory. But I had met a friend who lived behind me, and he had one that he was playing and thought it was really cool and got into it and borrowed it, and it was just really enjoyable. But so yeah, I remember that. But aside from that, I really never picked up a shmup again. It just wasn't for me. It just too hard, too complicated. Didn't know anything about them. Kind of stuck with more AAA titles than indies or anything like that. And then enter this golden age for me, or maybe not golden age, probably silver age, because I don't know how else to modern age. I'm trying to relate this to comic books, it's not working. Um, but yeah, bring me to modern age of gaming, and I met Dace, and he's been into shmups, and I know I remember when he started Shmuptopia. That kind of got me thinking about him, but it didn't really get me doing too much with it. Once that's I got a couple of games here and there, and I dabbled, but it was only really recently that him and when he started getting together other shmup people, uh, Lord Shmup, um, Jason Bant, other people all around the community, he really started bringing them together into a group that kept coming onto my Twitter feed and YouTube when he would do co-hosting discussions, and man, it was just really got me looking at them in a whole new light. And then when Twitter, especially recently on Twitter, when everybody posting their high scores and different games and showcasing the shmup they're playing, and it was always in friendly. It wasn't like, man, you guys stink or whatever. It was just always just so excited that just somebody was trying it. I don't know. It was like this newfound love and appreciation for that type of community and the games. And don't get me wrong, some shmups, there was a couple that Dace was playing that, oh my gosh, were gorgeous. I just never felt like my eyes and reactions just couldn't keep up with it. But he was playing one in particular that really jumped out at me. And I bought it, but never played it. Really didn't play it until recently. And of course, as everybody knows, that was Danmaku uh, Unlimited 3 and on the Nintendo Switch. And man, just everything about that shmup I love. I love the sound effects. I love the color. I love the theme of it. Just the gameplay, I mean, everything. I can't even begin to. I don't even know if this game has a flaw. I think it's a perfect game for me, shmup wise. It's the colors have this like really cool neon 80s theme, and it's just, oh my gosh, and I love the sounds. It's so smooth and just so amazing. I absolutely love it. So that to me is going to, I can tell you right now, it will always be my favorite shmup. And I try to do at least one run in it, run every day. I don't always get to, but eh, I, and I took Dace's advice that he put on Twitter, and that was just basically, or in the discussion, I should say, and it's just jump into hard mode. Don't bother with easy or normal. Uh, it just jump into hard, and that sounds so counterintuitive when you start games. People always kind of typically start on normal. They'll play it on easy if they want really a casual experience, and difficulty doesn't matter. But for most people, start on normal, and he just jumps in hard, and I kind of there was something about the what he said in relation to it. It was like basically just it'll be more rewarding, actually quicker in terms of your skill and progress. Not necessarily how far you get in the game, but how much you learned from it. And it's true. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's true. That game, learning the patterns to get up and beat the first boss is like equivalent to me beating the first two bosses on normal or medium, whatever that however the game chooses to word it. But it's double. And I've tested it to the for the most part. I can get up to the third boss, and I've beaten the third boss on hard mode, and went back just for giggles on medium, and it was boring. It was almost boring to try to do it on a lower difficulty because it almost was too easy. It's weird that I didn't beat the game on medium, but I got a lot further, and it was just like, okay, it's kind of cool, but nah, hard keeps you on edge, like just oh, so good. So yeah, that really combined all those things combined really gave me the love for that game and shmups in general. Um, and it's not just now. I'm not saying I'm gonna play any old shmup. I'm not that hardcore, but I've developed an appreciation for certain ones that look like they're doing something right or different. So there was another one that was jumping out at me on the Switch that he plays, and for the longest time I actually forgot about it because he played it for a couple times and then that was it. And I didn't even like really think about it until we were discussing it in general. Like he was asking about other shmups, and something made me think about it again. But like it was funny because I just never I didn't even I don't know why I couldn't remember it for the longest time. But that game was called Shikando on the Switch. Now, I don't know if it's on any other platforms, maybe PC. I know it's not on Xbox. Um, I don't even think it's on PlayStation. But yeah, that one has such a cool Asian vibe. I really got into the fact that played as a character and the different Asian art and I there was a tradition and lore buried in the imagery, for lack of a better term. I mean, it's I don't know if it's really telling a story per se. There's no words, there's no dialogue, but there's just something about the presentation that really like really latched on to me. And to me, the gameplay is very similar to Danmaku, whereas set of gems that you collect after you destroy enemies, it's like these embers or golden fires. There's a grazing ability. You can do a spread shot or concentrate a shot. Bosses have a couple of phases. So to me, there was very similar. There's pattern like recognizable patterns. So for me, it was very similar in the gameplay terms, and the art just appealed to me on a totally different level. So yeah, I went and got that, and then I just started going hardcore, not hardcore, but I really started looking to other shmups. Um, I only got like 3 on the Switch or so, but I looked into other systems because my preferred system is Xbox, so I wanted to know what else was there. And I have others like that I think are fun. I've got Stardust Galaxy Warriors, which I do think is very fun. There's a uniqueness in the way melee and energy weapons work, and there's like 5 or more maybe characters to even choose from that all play somewhat differently. Um, Another one that I really started playing and getting into is Skyforce Anniversary, which has a more traditional look to it insofar as it's kind of military based. You're playing as a fighter jet, and not that there aren't some things that are a little futuristic, like force fields or something, or a little advanced technology, but it's Earth based and it's not over the top. So it was different in that regards. It's also a lot easily approachable from somebody who's not a hardcore shmup person, because there's I think you start with 3 stars to begin with, and then there's a potential fourth, and I could be wrong about the fourth one. I have so many games I mix things up, but I know there's different difficulties you can play at each stage on. So you can play at every stage at your own pace. Another one was now this one he didn't demonstrate. I don't think he's even played it, even though I know it's available on Switch. But I got it initially actually for the easy achievements without even realizing what it was, and it's called Full Blast by I think Metallica Games or something like that. And I like the art style and the kind of a comic booky feel. It's also a simpler type of shmup, so I think it's very approachable for a beginner, and one that can be enjoyable. So I did that one. Another one that I saw that's been actually current that Dace and the others have been sharing that got me pumped to try it was Steriden, Binary Stars, and they love the game. And I love a lot of the ideas and concepts about the game. And I talked with Dace about this on our discussion on his channel for a little bit, and there's something about the game that throws me off, and I don't know if it's coming off Danmaku being a vertical and Steriden is a horizontal, but I find Steriden to be harder to progress because I find certain things pattern wise are a little too random, too quick. There's no adjustment time. Some things seem almost kind of impossible, like you just can't move fast enough to actually avoid anything, which makes trying kind of beats me down from wanting to try. I know part of it's just me not being used to the game. Also, perhaps going back and forth between different shmups isn't a help. Um, I like a lot of the things the game wants to do, and I'm not giving up on it because I know I can get better. It's not I feel I know I can get better. but it's definitely can be more intense quickly to me, whereas other things seem to my eyes can pick up on it a little easier. I don't know, it's weird. So then there was so that got me starting now, like between a couple of the ones that Dace showed me and others showed, and my own little experience. Like now, I'm really wanting to branch out, and I'm trying to look into what Xbox has, and I found a few. Going back, some are 360 titles that are backwards compatible. Some are 360 titles that are not, and I just have to play it on the 360, and that's okay with me. But um, two game, and it's funny because Dace has never played them because I think they're Xbox exclusives. But Dace mentioned them. He said he had heard nothing but good things, so I looked into them, and that was Death Smiles. And oh my gosh. So I streamed this actually not too long ago, like a week or so ago. And I love them. The looks are so cool. You're not a ship, you're a fairy, for lack of a better word. I know that sounds so cheesy and girly and corny, but man, the first one, the levels pixel art is so good, and it's got more of a traditional fantasy feel, and I actually really liked it. I really enjoy it. And there's a couple of different ones you can choose from character wise. There's the second one which has a similar concept. It's not pixel art though; it's 3D, which I still love the look of, but it's a little weirder in terms of what the story seems to be presenting. Whereas the first one was, at least that's the character I played, was about a girl wanting to go home, go back to the real world to be with her family, and this one was kind of like, I don't know, because most of it. So I guess the first one didn't do well enough to fully bring over to the US, the second one. So there was kind of a half port, and it was only digital. You can't buy a physical in the US for US. And Death Miles 2 seems to present, it's all Japanese, voice acting, the subtitles, even the achievements. They come up with the word achievement, their points, and then the achievement description's completely all in Japanese. Most of the menus are Japanese except for a couple of things here and there. It's really odd. Like, what was the point of putting it on the US market? But I'm not going to argue because, again, I enjoy the game like immensely. The art again is, I like the art, I like the concept, but it's just really weird because it's kind of like now you're fighting this weird anime evil Santa. That's the best. I know that sounds weird, but that's really the gist of what I got from it. It's odd, but I don't care because the gameplay was fun. So yeah, I really got into them. Another one I got is Ghostblade HD on the Xbox One. And I have to say, I love the look of that. I don't. If you guys really need to look these up because you'll see a pattern visually. Shikandu is the only one that's really outside of that, and maybe Full Blast. But there's yeah, so there's really cool things, and I, and there's other ones I got. I got Triggerheart Excelica that had nothing but raves and reviews on the Xbox 360. Um, that one has three cool characters to choose from that I've actually enjoyed quite a bit. There's Bullet Soul Infinite Burst that I really enjoyed. I know there's just a Bullet Soul on there as well, which I want to get. But yeah, so like what's really cool, and I forget which one it was because I only sampled, but one like allowed you to actually grapple a ship or an enemy or debris, and sometimes you would have to struggle and hold it there because you need to pull it off, like pull the piece off because it's stronger. But eventually, you can like grapple the enemy ship or this part of it or whatever, and actually swing it around and throw it at a group and actually do bonus damage. So that was really cool concept. These are the things I really like. Is that is the shmups that do something different, whether it's in its presentation, look wise, color schemes, whatever, or mechanics. Like that was really unique. So not only can I do the traditional shooting, to be able to grab something, throw it, and take down a wave is really neat. And that's another one I want to stream. So, and I have other ones that I've actually haven't gotten to yet. Like I have Stellar Interface. I know Lord Schmup actually did a review. I know he didn't seem thrilled, but I got it real cheap. Actually, right at the same time he got his, or at least right around the same time he did his review. So it was kind of neat. Um, but for a budget title, I'm not going to complain. Um, I really want to try it. I've also got. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm probably going to butcher it. But Guang or Guang, where you're this. It's got again an Asian theme, but not anything like Shikondo. This is like it looks like you're a demon, and you go around shooting enemies on foot. So that was right there was a totally different concept that drew me to want to try it, and I'm glad I did. I thought it was definitely a little neat, got me had me getting used to it, but yeah, so I thought that was really neat. Uh, Other ones I got on the Xbox 360 was like Ikaruga, which um, I'm still getting used to the concept of switching between polarities, for lack of a better term. But I think it's really neat looking. A little bit kind of reminds me of Danmaku, but not really. Not the color scheme. I don't know how to explain it. There's just a feel visually that reminds me of Danmaku. But it's not a neon 80s theme. So don't get me wrong on that. But yeah, so I really kind of jumped in as it were. So I got like playable on my Xbox One 14 shmups. I have, and that's including the backwards compatible titles. So that's like one, two, three, four, five. That's five backwards compatible titles from the 360. I have two on the 360 that are not backwards compatible, and that's Death Smiles 1 and 2. And then I've actually got three on the Nintendo Switch that are not on other systems. So I'm actually really excited to have been able to get myself into a new genre and one that the community is so supportive of each other, just progression wise. Like it's not about beating in the game; it's just about showing your progress and enjoyment, which is really almost different. Like you don't see that with the other games. Like nobody really goes, "Oh man, you beat the first stage of BioShock. That's so cool, man. You're doing great." Or, "Oh yeah, you did the first chapter in The Last of Us. Oh man, that's great. You did great." No, nobody does that. It's just like somebody's like, "Oh man, you reached that score on the shmup. Man, you're doing awesome. I can't wait to see you be able to do more." Like it's really weird in the terms of how much more supportive the community is from what I've seen. I got another. I can't have to mention this. So this one's got color wise when it comes to the attacks of the enemies has a Danmaku color scheme that I like. It's not the rest of the games, just their attacks, the bullets. But every other Dace and Jason Bant and Danny and Lord Schmupp and all the they've been posting their progress, especially Dace. Oh my gosh, it must be a second favorite Schmupp. But he they've got me into another shmup that do not have yet because I didn't buy it digitally, but I pre-ordered the physical. I'm just hoping they get enough. Man, come on, guys, do me a solid. Everybody pre-order this game from Physicality Games, and that game is Rolling Gunner. It is such a good-looking shmup. I am totally stoked to play it because, I mean, Dace plays on expert mode. And just watching him, I feel like it's slow enough that now it's always different watching than actually doing. But what's really drawing me to it is that as insane as the attacks look from the enemies, there is a pattern and it still looks approachable. That's what I really like. The difficulty is going to be in your patience, your timing, and so forth, but not in the franticness. And I thought that really looked appealing, and I really want to support that. And I cannot wait to try that game. So I thought that was totally worth me pre-ordering. And I've done other little shmups that Dace has promoted, Red Death and so forth. That which was an interesting little short title, budget title. Gives you a little idea what to look forward to shmup wise. But yeah, so that's the extent of my shup. Wow. That's the extent of my shmup experience. It's not a whole lot, and I'm okay with it not being a huge library. I'm enjoying being picky about what I like because then I know or what I get because then I know I'm going to enjoy just about everything I get. I have Sign Moria EX that looks really good, and I want to play more of it. I yeah. So there's plenty that I even have. For me, that's I have quite a few shmups to delve into. I'm really happy. I know I have some retro ones on my SNES Mini and all. Like I know there's a Sega CD one. I can never remember the name. I know I have like Thunder Force 2, 3, and 4 on there. I know there's other ones out there that are popular like Raiden and don't get me wrong. I know they're there, but they have to jump out to me. They have to stand out to me. I'm not because I'm not hardcore shmup fan. I have to be more picky, and I want to be more picky so I can enjoy every one I do pick up. But yeah, so that's my experience with everybody. Or with all these, and I wanted to just put that out there for people who they themselves maybe be considering getting into shmups or curious where to start. Honestly, I'll tell you to right now to start Danmaku Unlimited 3 on the Switch and do what Day said, jump into hard and just have fun. Let the other ones just be let it flow. Just look at the ones that appeal to you to get started. Like I said, there are some good starter ones. Skyforce, Full Blast. Those I think are really good ones to start and get your feet wet, as it were, with it. But man, I and there's a great community out there. So you ever have questions, don't hesitate to like hit up me or anybody like any of them because they're super friendly, they're super awesome, they're very supportive, and they'll tell you 50 million different things about shmups I certainly don't know. But I'm hoping more people get into this. I'm hoping to see this community grow. I appreciate you all for listening. Thank you again. I'm Car Dreamer. This is D Class, and until next time, stay evil.